I think I'd rather kill Yorion. Wah! We still... Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch Hello Good Game. Today, we'll be playing with some new Strixhaven cards in one of the strongest best of one decks in Standard right now. Quandrix is OP. There are so many busted cards within the classically known Simic, green and blue, now formerly known as Quandrix, still green and blue. Is badass. This is a mid-range deck that's meant to outlast and outvalue your opponents. Of course, we'll break down the deck for you guys in the video, show you the gameplay footage, and then wrap up with our final thoughts. Support the channel by leaving a thumbs up, and of course, subscribe for more content. Let's get into it. Alrighty, of course, if you're interested in any of my other decks, you can find them all on my YouTube channel. Playlists are sorted by Standard, Historic, Brawl, Limited. Check them all out. We've got guides, tools and tricks, all available for you guys. So that'd be great. And of course, while you're on the playlist, let it rip. Why not watch 5-6 videos while you're on the web browser? Of course, if you're looking to partake in anything within the channel, we have the Linktree link. A go-to one-stop shop for everything HGG, whether you're looking to help support me financially or you just want to get in on our contests, giveaways, tournaments that are all free to do so. I recommend you check that out, and it'll direct you to the specific spot that you're looking for, or by all means, just go on a snoop. With it all out of the way, skis, let's talk about Quandrix Stompy. This is a 60-card best of one standard deck with an average mana value of 3.0. Pretty light for a mid-range deck, but it does definitely still get the job done. We have 27 creatures and 13 non-creatures with a smooth 20 land, but don't worry, there's about 8 MDFC or Moldul-faced cards within the deck that act as both a creature and a land, so, the 20 land here, don't get frightened by that. A mid-range deck with 20 land, are you insane? What is this, a deck for land? Anyways, 12 islands, 32 forests, a very dominant split towards the green color in the deck. We have very few blue cards, but the ones that we do have pack a serious punch. So let's take a look at those now. Some of the new cards in the deck: Decisive Denial. This is an absolute bomb. We have Quandrix Command, unspeakably good here as well. And Quandrix Cultivator, which is an uncommon, mind you, and again, absolutely insane value with some of these cards. We've got the Snarls, which make a couple of our playlines a possibility that were not in the past, which is quite nice here. So there's a few new cards, and again, this is a fairly competitive deck. We actually play it into the top 1,000 Mythic today, so we're tearing it up. We've got a 75% win rate, which is pretty crazy, and the only match that we dropped was against Mono Red Aggro, who had perfect turn 4 cleave on top of an Annex, and they were on the play, which is pretty bummer. So it's a good deck, and it survives most things, but of course, there are those few things that are really hard to get around, almost no matter what deck you have, it seems. So we've taken a quick overview of the new cards. Let's break down the deck card by card, and then we'll view strategies and synergies, kind of talk about how it all comes together coherently. 4 copies of the Stonecoil Serpent. This is an X-cost creature, so we can cast it for 1 mana all the way up to, infinite mana, right? We don't ever want to cast it for 0 because it will die, because creatures cannot exist with 0 toughness or negative toughness for that matter. So that's something, if you are a beginner, that you should know. You'll only make the mistake once, though, I hope. I might have even made it more than once, sadly, when I first started, but don't worry, you'll improve. It does have protection from multicolor, which is amazing, and it enters the battlefield with, of course, X +1/+1 counters on it, like its mana cost would, dictate. So that's great. This is going to be a really good creature. It can be used early on in the game. It can be used later on in the game. It has protection from multicolor. Absolutely amazing. There are so many multicolor spells in Strixhaven that the Stonecoil Serpent and any creature with protection from multicolor is really going to shine, and we'll get on to some of the other strategies and synergies with that later. 4 copies of the Snakeskin Veil for 1 mana at instant speed. Look at this brand new Mystical Archive art. I love it. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains hexproof until the end of turn. This is such a cool card within this deck, and it is going to win you so many games. Instant speed, only 1 mana, and we're always going to try to, with the deck, hold up that 1 mana and, again, view the strategies and synergies and just exactly how that works with the rest of the cards once we wrap up with the breakthroughs here. So 2 copies of the Ooze, a 2/2. We can pay 1 to exile a card from a graveyard. If it's a creature, we get +1/+1 on the Ooze, and we gain 1 life. Absolutely amazing. We talked about the Venerable Warsinger in our last video. If you've not seen it, I definitely recommend you check it out. Such a powerful deck. And the Ooze is one of the few ways to actually mitigate that deck on the fly, which is a must-have in the new meta as far as I'm concerned. So we got a couple copies of it here, and it does some other cool things against other decks as well. 4 copies of the Tangled Florahedron and the Tangled Veil. This is one of the MDFCs that we mentioned that fills the land role and the creature role. Better yet, it's a creature that produces mana. Absolutely love it. 4 copies of Decisive Denial. This is our first new card in the deck. For 2 mana at instant speed, choose 1. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Sure, 2 mana for that is typically what it costs anyways. And now we actually have the versatility, if we're not playing against another creature deck, to just counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 3. So, if you're playing a Stompy deck, and like we are today, and your opponent plays creatures, sure, use the fight effect, yeah. If you end up against a control deck, now instead of having dead cards, you can still utilize it by countering non-creature spells, which of course, if they're not playing creatures, they're playing non-creatures. So, Decisive Denial, oh my gosh, an uncommon card as well. Into our 3 drops now. 2 copies of Quandrix Command, another new card, instant speed. Choose 2 this time. Return target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand. Counter target artifact or enchantment spell. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. Target player shuffles 3 target cards from their graveyard into their library. This is great to empty your graveyard if you have to. You can also empty your opponent's graveyard by, putting it into their own library. Again, if they have graveyard recursion, this might be the right answer. We can bounce a creature from the field to their hand, opening up our attack lanes, which is amazing, and, even countering some of those things that might rear their head in the control deck, like the artifacts and enchantments. And of course, we can even make our creatures more powerful, which is cool. Within the deck, you may notice that a lot of our creatures have Trample. Stonecoil Serpent, Trample. Old Growth Troll, Trample. And we'll get into more as well. 3 copies of this in deck. It's a 4/4, again, with Trample. When Old Growth Troll dies, if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield as an aura enchanted to a forest that we control. Enchanted Forest can now tap to add 2 forests instead of the 1 green that it would typically. We can also pay 1 to sacrifice it, so we have to tap it and pay 1 to sacrifice it, and then the troll will become a 4/4, which is absolutely amazing. And again, the token has Trample, so you get double value within this card because it's a 4/4, it dies, you ramp with it, then you sack it, it's another 4/4. That's really cool stuff. 4 copies of the Kazandu Mammoth, our secondary MDFC, land in tapped, or the 3/3 with landfall. For 3 mana, whenever it enters the whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, the Mammoth gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. And that's actually a very important part of our strategy, which we'll break down in a second. 4 copies of Cosima, God of the Voyage, and the Almond Nail. The Boat and the Mistress here are both very, very good cards for us. The Boat is our first drop, of course, and then we'll play God of the Voyage and use it to crew the boat if we can. So, the Boat's a 3/3, and whenever a vehicle you control deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles that many cards from the top of their library. You may play lands from among those cards as long as they remain in exile, which is really, really cool. So we are also using our opponent's lands, and we're exiling cards from the top of their library, which is pretty cool. So we all know how annoying rogues are when they're milling your key cards to the match, and the Almond Nail actually has that possibility as well. And just, the robber of the rich, there's things here that are annoying when they mess with your deck, and this is one of them, and it actually works very, very well. Better than that, though, we do have the God of the Voyage, which is a 2/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile it. If you do, it gains whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control. If it is exiled, you may put a Voyage counter on it. If you don't, return it to the battlefield, and it enters with X +1/+1 counters equal to the Voyage counters on it, and you will draw X cards as well. This is quite nice. You can put it in exile early on and just play a bunch of lands, and then you get into the late game and bring it back in and maybe draw 3-4 cards, which is going to be really, really groovy. Not a key part of the strategy. The boat, on the other hand, definitely is. Moving in now to our 4 drops, we have 2 copies of the Quandrix Cultivator, a 3/4, and when it enters play, grab a island or forest from your library, put it into the battlefield untapped. Absolutely amazing that comes in untapped for us. 3 copies of our Elder Gargaroth, a 6/6 with Vigilance, Reach, and Trample whenever it deals a combat interaction, whether attacking or blocking. You get to choose one, either creating a 3/3 green beast creature token, gaining 3 life, or drawing a card, which is really great. And if you can get this in play against some of those aggro decks, it's going to be game. We have a single copy of Vorinclex Monstrous Raider, a 6/6 with Trample and Haste, and if you would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of each of those kinds instead, and then the opposite of that is true for your opponent. So if they were to put counters on a permanent or player, they will put half that many on rounded down as well, which is really, really good. We've got 3 copies of the Great Henge for 9 mana, X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures that we control. We can tap it for 2 mana, gaining 2 life, and whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, it will enter with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, and we get to draw a card. Big woofs there. I'm sure you guys are all aware of the Henge. We talked about having the Snarls in deck. We have the Fabled Passages to combo on top of the Kazandu Mammoth to reduce the copy of the Great Henge, playing it for a potential of 2 mana, which is basically free because it itself will tap for that 2 mana right back for us. Utilizing the Snakeskin Veil after we play the Quandrix Cultivator to protect any of our creatures. I really like to play the boat on turn 2, either the Mammoth or Troll on turn 3, even Cosima, and then we immediately crew the turn 2 boat on the turn 3 Summoning Sickness creature to attack, start exiling, getting lands for our next turn. The Serpent as a turn 1/1/1 will also make a very good playline to set up a crew for the boat because the crew is only 1. We can hold up mana for Decisive Denial, Quandrix Command, Snakeskin Veil, also Scavenging Ooze. This should upset our opponents in any combat interactions if we can get the chance. Get big, get your cards, and smash in with Trample. Again, the Vorinclex will double Snakeskin Veil, it will double the Ooze, it will double Cosima, and it will double the Great Henge, it will double Command. There's a lot that does for us, which is really, really groovy. It doubles Stonecoil Serpent as well. So Vorinclex has massive synergy here within the deck, but we do run 3 copies of the Gargaroth just for the life gain and the draw ability because that is a key part of the deck as well. So with that all out of the way, thank you for enjoying this deck tech, or I at least assume you've been enjoying it if you're still watching. We're going to break into today's gameplay footage, but before we do, I have to remind you, absolutely demolish that thumbs up button. The more thumbs up, the cooler content I can make and the bigger giveaways that I can host. So smash that up. Thank you guys so much for your time, your support, all of the love that we received recently on the channel. It is outstanding. Have a magical day. Enjoy the deck. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below, and we'll be back to wrap up with our final thoughts after the gameplay. Going first, don't mind if I do, Hugh. Don't mind if I do. Land's a little light, but look what we've got, right? So, hard not to take with the ramp and just rely on the draw. Being greedy, as I often am, you know me, right? I want the lion's share, and I want it now. Right, and I want it now. So let's get after it. We're gonna play tapped, nice and slow here. Hello, good game, my friend. Welcome to the Thunderdome. Yes, 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 yes. So that's 3 mana. We're dropping to 4. Mono white aggro. No. The casket. Now that is interesting. I really needed that. That was an integral part of my strategy. You jerk! You jerk! Who in their mind has this amount of audacity? Well, we're not playing this turn anyways, so we may as well just play the Snarl. And then Gargaroth can come in untapped next turn. But I don't really want to... Well, their white doesn't do anything. Oh, Giant Killer. It does do something. Big hits here. They're coming in with a vengeance, hitting for 6, down to 12. There's no way they've got a Giant Killer in hand. Just go for it, HGG. Because you might not draw the land next turn. You might not draw the land next turn. Snakeskin Veil much, bro? Let's look at the alternative art here, though. Like, I absolutely love it. A secondary maul, so we're safe from a Giant Killer. But look at that damage. First strike damage, too. That is for real. No blocks. We can't do it. We just can't do it. It doesn't have vigilance, so we can grab that life on the attack, and it's like it only hit for 4 then. Henge in play. The life gain here helps us out as well. And that's a big hit. Gain the life, please and thank you. And now we're even protected. If they do have Giant Killer, Snakeskin Veil's up, and I'm feeling pretty happy here. A little low on life, but I think Gargaroth and the Henge are going to bring us into victory here. Or maybe not. I mean, we can go to 9. And then they'd have to give Indestructible to it. Wow. So they'd still kill us with first strike. Wow, that sucks so bad. Let's take the damage. We can survive it with Vorinclex, maybe. We'd have 1 extra. I'm gonna do 1 right now. Just in case it makes a difference later. Our backs are way against the wall, though. There's nothing for the Ooze to take. It's an 8-8. Unfortunately, I don't think we can attack with it, though. Right, we're going to need all the defenders we can get. I'm not 100% sure on the life gain here. I do know that we can push up to a 9, but we might not want to because Hallowblade's going to go, you know, with Indestructible to 11. Oh, no, it can't because... So it's locked at 9. Shoot, I wish we had more mana. The trample damage still goes through. Alright, down to 7. So sadly, we're still gonna like die. We won't even trade with it. So I'm not sure that the Snakeskin... Oh, and now they just probably win if they go onto the Luminarch Aspirant and then they put both Luminarch Aspirants onto the Aspirant. But that lets us die. Right, we're so screwed. So we have to block. So this doesn't give indestructible. I really need indestructible for this matchup. So they're just gonna wreck us. Even if we do buff it up. I think we just have to draw here. You know, it sucks that the Hollow Blade's out of reach for us to kill. But that's just what's happening here. Alright. Let's get some good draws going on. Right, we get double tokens because of the Raider. But we only gain the 1 life. The trample's good here. It's going to be a 6/6. But it's like, how are we going to survive this turn without reach? Problem solved! Woo! Okay. Okay. And then let's hold up Snakeskin Veil. Still. We need more of those serpents, please. Vorinclex is going to swing. What? Interesting. So that's 2 more life for us. Oh, they have to block because the trample damage is lethal. Ah, HGG. Just missed lethal with Snakeskin Veil. Uh-oh. Don't tell my boss. Don't tell my boss. We have a blocker and, you know, a lot of life gain. We're at 11. How we're so... Oh, no way. Thank gosh for the ooze. The ooze just saved us. The ooze just saved us. Woohoo! Yeah! Let's get him. Let's get him. 10-10 trample. They should have no problem with that. Ah! Ah! Woohoo! Who loves Elder Gargaroth? This guy. This guy loves Elder Gargaroth. We could take their Luminarch from the grave. But since it's being blocked, we may as well Veil onto the Troll for explosive damage. Oh my gosh. Big woofs. Unfortunately, we didn't get too many of our new cards there, but it's always nice when you can outperform one of the better decks on your first try without getting your heaters. So let's continue along our journey here. We go first, top 250 individual. Woof. But do they have a spell book? Look at all my cool spells. What do they call those? Polyhedrons? What are the original shapes called from Pythagoras? Like he names all those shapes as a classification. 2 mana, ooh, serpents can crew the heck out of our little boat skis here. So we're gonna get after it. Usher, Spirit Tribal. So we can actually crew the Omen Nail to block the Fallen here, and I don't know if they know this. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. We're gonna see. Oh, they spend their mana, we get the kill. Hot dog! We crew the mana because it's got Summoning Sickness. And then we attack for 3, they lose their blocker. Three mana is threatening. Oh! We know all about this card, don't we? Yeah, we do. Let's keep ramping. They're not going to block this. It's just damage plus land. And we can maybe use the Cultivator to block. We'll have to find out and see, though. We exile 3 from the top. Oh, we get a Kenrith. We get some other good stuff. No land, though. Sag. I want your land. Warsinger's threatening. They have Usher in grave to bring back. Not too bad, but still good value. It's just important that we play this Henge, though. It has Vigilance, which bites. And I know they've got combat tricks here, right? And they can still only pull the Usher. It's worth 1, so it's like... Nothing is really that bad about this situation, I don't think. Well, it's not great, but... Oh! That is great. We're doing some dues here. Whoops. Again, they're probably going to block with the Usher. Do they really? I'll trade with that Warsinger, sure. That's delightful. And then we just can't let this other Warsinger hit. I'll double block. What if they have tricks? What if they have tricks? Rimrock in play. They boast, maybe. Nothing. I love it. Hadron gets us the draw from the Henge. Ooze nullifies the Warsinger through the graveyard snatch ability. No, we need to keep the Ooze back just to shut down the deck. And turn. We need some fight spells or something. We're going to thin our library of the passage here in a second. Walls are up. Defense is in place. Now let's get some firepower going on here. Our turn. Oh, hot dog. That's a 5/5 with trample. Ooh, the command is exactly what we want. Choose 2, instant speed, return target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand. Counter target artifact or enchantment spell. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature, or they can shuffle. I'm going to attack with the Ooze. They just take it. That's great news. Let's end our turn. Hold up our command. Instant speed. So we can return target creature to its owner's hand and put 2 counters on our own creature. Yeah, we did! Quandrix Command is such a good card in this deck and just in general. Plus we have Decisive Denial, which I think is pretty nasty as well. Simic showing itself back on top. We're top 1,000. We started the day at like 98%, so we're crushing it. Let's get another match. Okay, our opponent is playing first, and the land looks great. We just need something cooler than a 4/4 to crew off of. If we could top deck a Snarl, that's the only way we could do that as well. Because we'll need a blue and the green there, right? So if we can't get the Snarl, that won't work, because we really do need the dual lands to make this a pretty play. I don't even know if we'll get to a pretty play here. We're getting beat down hard. We could Cosima on turn 3 and then Troll on turn 4, which is fine. Turn 3 Annex, that's lovely. That is great. And they get 2 of our best creatures. I'm loving that. Brutal, brutal, brutal. At least we have our own Gargaroth, but like, I have little faith that we'll survive to that point. Are you freaking kidding me? This guy is going all out. Or girl. This individual is giving me a hard time. And I don't like it. Alright, let's cleave our face off here. Yeah, big surprise. Perfect opening. LOL. Alright, just turn 4 combo wombo. What do you do when they come for you? Cry! Alright, so at least it's not mono red on the play. Our opponent still goes first, which is annoying. We have the Snarls in hand, so that's better. We can go Mammoth first. We already have another Mammoth, because I don't want to miss the Cultivator on 4, right? So we can Almond Nail, which is pretty groovy. We're playing against a control deck, which is saddening. Creature, and then we crew it. Hit for 3, grab their land. Kaya off the top! Got him! Lantern's great. Lantern's so good. I'll lose life all day. And now we're even holding up Snakeskin Veil through a forest for protection. Crew the boat skis. We're hitting for 10. Can you believe it? Give me that land! Give me your land, man! Quandrix Cultivator is just so OP. Really? Okay. Bad boy! Lily's life. Let's crew it up. We can play to 3. So even if we play... Oh, that's not the tempo, though. That would shut that out. Artifact or enchantment spell. They could cast something like that, though. Not brave enough. I really want to hold up the command here, if we can get it. Down to 11. Oh, Yorion is annoying. We could just bounce it to their hand, though. Right, that's a good game. Annihilated, we win. I like the math one. That's so awesome. Oh, they bring it in as a creature. Hashtag frustrating. I think I'd rather kill Yorion. Wow! We still get him. That could have been a good match. I'm pretty happy with what we had going on, you know, to close out this battle. But this deck is feeling so strong. Can I get a woof woof? All right, the deck's a banger. Only dropped one match. Decisive Denial, Quandrix Command, Cultivator. These are all super duper broken cards. We tried playing with this deck before the Cultivator, before Denial, and before Command. It didn't work, right? You guys seen it. We got smashed. Now, it definitely does work. And, you know, having the Quandrix Cultivator over the Solemn Simulacrum is such an improvement because the land comes in untapped. Now you can hold up Snakeskin Veil instead of always being fully tapped out because, yeah, we're trying to ramp with our Stompy creatures, but at the same time, we need to hold back some mana to protect ourselves to engage with our opponent on the stack. That was very hard to do before, not so much anymore. Big woofs. I love the deck. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for all your time and attention. Of course, you know, we do have some codes to give away within the last couple days, so if you comment on this video, if you're watching it on YouTube right now, like it, comment below, say, I love Strixhaven, right? You can say whatever you want. It doesn't matter what you say. But if you didn't know what to say, there's something that you can say. And I will, at random, choose, you know, maybe 5 to 10 comments. I'll reply to these comments in, you know, maybe a day, 24 hours. I'll give everybody a chance to get in on it. And at which point, you're going to win yourself a Strixhaven pack because Wizards canceled the pre-release, sad, but they are making up for it in other ways. So we've got some packs to share with you guys, which is pretty cool, right? So hopefully you get some cool cards and maybe even a mythic wild card, right? So again, thank you so much for your time and attention. Go watch a billion more videos. Support financially if you can afford to do so. And most importantly, have an amazing day. We'll see you soon.